I think
About the other few picks.
it would give them a lot more wave clear during the mid game, and they have that nice scaling too. You'd also have the question mark of what mid would you tie up with the Varus. Naturally, you have the Syndra availability. Are they going to do it though?
This. Oh.
I mean, there's still nothing wrong with that lane. They made a misplay and they got roamed down. Not with the Braum. I definitely don't like the Braum, but like the Kennen itself, yeah, while it has low impact, like the dude got ganked by a level 4 LeBlanc, that wasn't probably called miss, you know? That is the issue. But it takes, takes me back to the semi-final versus HK,
yes,
5 games on NAR, where we kept blaming rather Probably for not adapting. At what point does confidence in your team become hubris? And at what point does Yamato need to adapt? Sadly, which of the two it is, we will only get judged on the series, and people will be like, if they win, yeah, man, Yamato, what a great coach, believing in his players. And if he loses, bah, what a bad drafter. Kennen 0-4 in the series.
And this is such a huge risk. It's not like taking a late game scaling champion and giving up the early game, right? Kennen, it feels like all or nothing. If he gets into that late game, he's just not going to have the same level of impact, and that's so rough for Splyce to deal with if they fall behind again.
Now, the LeBlanc pick, the reason why they picked it here is because they want to save their bottom lane again for the second half of the draft, which they've done fairly consistently, but you're actually giving Splyce a lot of room for counter pick options. Remember that Misfits had the opportunity to get the first rotation on mid laners, so they could have actually pinched the mid lane pool and guaranteed a more successful mid lane, but alternatively, they're just going to start banning those away and make sure that LeBlanc can have the most favorable matchup possible.
Yeah, and is this Splyce going to ban out Thresh Varus here? Then to hopefully play into like a non-Thresh Kalista lane and not having to play into that annoying Varus from Hansama.
Adaptation still coming in despite the similarity in picks thus far. Still some time for Splyce to consider what top laner they want to take, what mid laner, maybe flex the Kennen into the top side of the map.
We have to remember that you can do that as well. Kennen into Shen is a really good matchup early on, and if you build a split push path, it will consistently throughout the game be able to match Shen off in a side lane. The problem I have is that weaker team fight value.
Yeah, it's quite... the Braum actually solves that problem. If you go for AD Kennen top and you look at Elise in the jungle, you're like, we don't have enough tanky front line, but Braum combined with Elise is enough to solve that problem. Allows you to stall and buy some time for fights too. Get rid of the Caitlyn.
Yeah, taken away. They don't want to give up any of those later scaling picks. They don't want to give up the traps to kind of interrupt a lot of the options here. Ryze taken off the board as well. Syndra, despite the success that PowerOfEvil found, banned away.
You could do a Varus Zyra here if you're Misfits. It would lane very nicely into the Braum Kennen, but it would also add a lot of team fight value to the composition of Misfits as well.
Yeah, I would also like Varus Tahm Kench here. Honestly, Tahm Kench is the most annoying champion to play against if you're AD Kennen and if you're Braum, and even more annoying if you're both.
How they get the chance to round out their composition. We'll see where Splyce wants to assign.
All right, bets, gentlemen. Well,
Lucian.
All bets are off. Yes, Kennen top lane.
Or is it Lucian top lane? Okay, yeah, Kennen top lane. Viktor coming in as well. Splyce, big shift in what they're trying to do this time around.
Still tricky to play Lucian on the side lane though, so they're definitely opting in for a 4-1 in the mid game.
Yeah.
They need to get Wunder ahead. It is paramount for Splyce's victory that Wunder gets that lead. And Misfits, all the eyes will be on shutting Wunder down in the top lane and hoping to hold.
Oh, of course. Lulu, I actually think is very good, especially against the picking power that Splyce do have.
They picked themselves a losing bot lane matchup. The only way you win is if you all in the Varus and you need to get to him with flashing aggressively almost. Especially now that Exhaust isn't really as strong of a tool either.
A part of me would actually prefer that Kennen to be AP. I think that it would be a stronger team fight composition overall from Splyce. And come the mid game, they'd actually do reasonably well. But I'm very confident that Wunder will go more towards the split push style, and their team fighting will really struggle, which is why I'm wondering about this Viktor pick. Like, during lane, he can do fine into LeBlanc, especially given the recent nerfs and how well, if he actually takes 2 points in his Q early on, you have enough in your shield to be trade fairly evenly with LeBlanc. But I feel like the fact that he can't go off to a side lane and the fact that his main focus is in team fights, which his composition isn't really built around, I think Sencux is going to struggle to have a huge impact.
Final words from each of the coaches as we get ready for Game 5 here. Our first quarterfinal in the EU LCS. Misfits, the top 4 team during the regular season. Will they remain in the top 4 Not if Splyce get their way. Hashtag SPY win, hashtag MSF win, depending on where your loyalties lie. It's all or nothing. It is do or die here in Game 5.
Quite the intense music too.
Yeah, man. Getting me really hyped. I'm excited. One of these teams go to Hamburg, one of these teams go home. And it's all come down to this. 5 games between Misfits and Splyce.
Here we go. See the compositions, the players, the focus on their faces.
And KaKAO on the Graves, how's he gonna do? Is he gonna yield as much jungle usually? Probably not, right? Much stronger pick right there into the Elise. And the momentum is still on the side of Misfits. Let's not forget how destroyed Splyce looked after that Game 4 loss.
Everything came together in Game 3 and Game 4 for Misfits. They outplayed, outmaneuvered Splyce on each and every angle. Now here in the final game, can Splyce take something back? Can they show us the same form we witnessed in Game 1 and Game 2? Or will they get reverse swept at the hands of a young organization?
And it'll all start with the matchup featured on the analyst desk, opening up Trashy versus KaKAO. The jungle pathing and the jungle start will tell us so much. Where is Trashy going to put his focus? Bot start into top gank? AD Kennen is similar to Renekton in terms of punishing power? Or is it top start into bot lane gank? Relieve some pressure off this Braum Lucian, get them to level 6, potentially win that lane.
Chain the CC, use the power of the concussive blows with the light slinger from Kobbe. Just lock up the CC. Maybe hope to give an advantage to this bot lane that may otherwise lose the laning phase.
And for KaKAO, he has a pushing lane mid with the LeBlanc early on. He also should have the ability to push up down bot. So you would expect him to move towards the bottom half of the enemy's jungle. Given his current path, it could be risky for him to go for an invade. So I expect him maybe to just stick to his own jungle rather than go for any kind of an invade.
Yeah, probably a fast clear for him. Also, there's no really good place to go for him. Kobbe and Mikyx, their skews go wide here. I don't think it's wise for them to challenge. They're just going to eat a lot of poke, and then Misfits are still going to equal out the push. Because if you're Braum, it looks good right now. Unless you get the double tap here.
Decent start, exhaust coming out, traded in the end. Trying to get the CC down on the Hansama. Both
Misfits
sides
should be able to fight back this push because both relic stacks have been used already. But this ultra aggression from Splyce, not working out, but the next wave is much harder for Mikyx to walk up because you want to get to 9 creeps, so 3 melee is what you want, and now Mikyx can no longer hit these creeps, right? That's the problem. If you invest everything on lane 1, especially the relic stacks, then Misfits can take more pressure second wave.
Now, gentlemen, while this bot lane interaction is extremely important, we talked about the junglers. Look at them. KaKAO already level 3. He actually decided to do a top clear into an invade. And I don't know if he knows about Trashy's location.
Maybe hoping to get something down. PowerOfEvil leaping forward. CC coming in onto Sencux. He's going to be in trouble. Flash forward. Barrier comes out, but the red buff is ticking. KaKAO running forward. Storm Raider Surge propelling him into Sencux. Not going to take the risk in the end.
KaKAO actually flashed in there.
Yeah.
So that's just a flash trade, and Sencux loses the barrier, but survives. Have to commend Splyce. Early laning phase, it's a really bold strategy. If you miscalculate that push they did early on, or you mis-execute that, the lane is over. Like, if you do not get to level 2 on the same creep, playing it that way they did, like, you just simply get butchered.
And maybe now that the pressure is on, we're finally seeing the Splyce that are rumored in scrims. The aggressive, insanely confident form of this team.
Level 3, now the dash to creep for Q and into double tap is back. And honestly, this lane plays so different, whether it gets pushed or has the push itself, and major props to Kobbe and Mikyx for making that happen.
Well, while we focus on the top side, Trashy's focusing on the bottom side. Going forward, Trashy.
Going for Shen.
Looking for a little bit more, is going to take a tower shot. Will now try to leap to safety, but here comes PoE. Connects to Shane, looking for more. Another first blood for PowerOfEvil.
That was so good from Power. He used his dash to reposition. He knew that Trashy had already burned his flash and noticed that he had gotten in front, or he may have even cleared out the Spiderlings with his W, which meant that Trashy, he had no guard away from the chains. He just added the Q for insult to injury. Now that's a double buff LeBlanc already in the mid lane. This is exactly how Game 3 started for Misfits.
And look at KaKAO, he's circling around again. Now you're going to see PowerOfEvil likely dash in. Sencux is under so much pressure, and he's very much so overextended, but he goes back just in time.
Double buff, smoke screen, end of the line. Not going to land any damage on Sencux, and he's going to walk away okay But still, things look pretty grim in the early game. Cannot afford to give that first blood to LeBlanc.
Now, just think about the mental strain that first gank has put onto Splyce. Not only has that first kill gone over to LeBlanc, but this is a reminiscence of what we started to see in Game 4 in favor of Misfits. Splyce already looked demoralized after that loss, and now their early game jungler is at a deficit.
And more importantly, their swingy matchup in the Kennen versus Shen has also been put in a deficit due to, honestly, a mistake from Trashy. He went too close, went for the repel up, expecting there to be a creep to go out, but there was no creep to jump to. And he went too close to third. If he did, it would have just landed in place.
Or if he just flashed after the taunt, right?
Yeah, obviously, but he had already repelled. So it was like a double mistake. KaKAO and PowerOfEvil here. Guys, this is a three-man dive onto a Kennen. Kennen wants to be the diver.
Only 5 minutes into the game, the wave starts to build. Wunder doesn't look like he's going to get level 6 in time. Taunt goes in, CC. What? No, dead in the end. PowerOfEvil just launched down the chain.
2 full waves being denied here of Wunder. 1,000 gold in the lead already on Misfits. Trashy walking in, cannot stop PowerOfEvil's base either.
This is not the start that Splyce wanted. Misfits just look better and better after every game.
And this is the Misfits of old. This is the Misfits playstyle that we praised them for during the middle of the regular season, where PowerOfEvil would be on Aroma. He would move with his jungler to get leads for players like Alphari, for players like Hansama. And we're seeing it once again. Misfits throughout this series have grown phenomenally. And right now, they're in a very favorable position 6 minutes into the game.
Yeah, back to the roots. Very tenacious, going 0-2 down, but not giving up. So that's props to the players and the coaching staff. And they're also hungry. Like these guys, they've been practicing the entire season for this moment, where other players kind of take leisurely times off, which is fine, by the way. There's nothing wrong with actually having a somewhat healthy life and taking a day off. You would look at the Misfits guys, they would always be at home, all in that room, playing solo queue. These guys have done nothing else except literally just grind the game for the last 2 or 3 months to arrive at a 0-2 in a best of 5, and now are about to turn it all around.
To arrive in a 0-2, to bring it back, as you said, to turn it around, the confidence coming out, despite the pressure that they may have put on themselves. It's a good thing to see from a young roster and a young team.
Young roster, but some of older players here. KaKAO, one of the best players in the world at times. You know, one of the best junglers, if not the best jungler for a period of time in seasons gone by. Now looking for former glory. PowerOfEvil as well, struggled an entire year, you know. Now he's finally getting his redemption.
Yeah, PowerOfEvil's been in the LCS since 2015. People may not have realized this. This guy has been around for a while. Unicorns have loved to Origin, now to Misfits. There are a fair number of veterans on this Misfits lineup tied in with the rookies who have only grown throughout the split. And now Misfits, they're looking to extend their lead even further as they look for a roam down bot.
Push in, group with the jungle. He eventually gets the red buff, which takes the roam 30 seconds extra, which means the enemy bot lane backs off. They spot PoE in the mid lane again, so now Kobbe and Mikyx can play, but they're playing under pressure and they can't play the aggressive Braum style that they want to.
PowerOfEvil fearlessly leaps forward, looks to set up the CC, looks to get something down, but it's not going to amount to anything. However, the pressure is still very clearly in his favor. The small CS lead for Sencux doesn't matter much when he's got the 2 kills.
And Splyce need to hold on, because they're playing at a teleport disadvantage. Wunder can only stop the Shen. Misfits know this. Oh, look at the poke from Alphari. They can take objectives on the bottom side of the map, and they could technically make a play here with Stand United.
In the meantime, KaKAO just starts to cut down the Infernal Drake, taking his time to solo this one out. Just going to make it that much harder the later and later we move into the game as well. And the lane pressure for the bot side of the map transitions into more support for these objectives.
Now bear in mind, even with the early deficit to Splyce, Wunder can still outscale the Shen. He will, if he gets to like 3-4 items, he can be this prominent split pusher that can deal with the Shen and exert a lot of pressure, similar to what he did on the Renekton in Game 4, but it's going to take him time to get to that point. He still sits on a fairly healthy CS lead, but at this point, it becomes very difficult to be able to dive Alphari. He is level 8 now, he's got a fair amount of armor underneath his belt, and so that snowball that we talked about in the early game isn't as possible, but that doesn't mean that Wunder's completely out of the game yet.
No, and Misfits' tight grip on the early game is softening just a bit as Sencux gets a blue buff, a Negatron cloak, and both of his summoners back. So he can definitely play into this LeBlanc, which means PowerOfEvil will have fewer roams to his disposal. We're also looking at a level 6 power spike on Lucian and Braum here with a Cutlass, and now a recurve both finished. Both bot lanes eerily similar in their item builds. That's a fakie.
He doesn't know, Krepo.
Yep.
I hate that. So annoying.
I think he knows, but you just, in the off chance that you're wrong,
Yeah.
you still run.
What if the fake is in the mid?
Thank God you can't actually do that, for the record. But moving forward, PowerOfEvil still trading aggressively. CS is even, and as you mentioned, the Negatron Cloak, yeah, it's not going to give Viktor a ton of damage in the coming fights, but we will make sure that he can keep up and farm and survive in this laning phase. And despite all of Alphari's early aggressive trades, Wunder finally starting to get some in his favor on the top side.
And now you actually, if you're a Braum and you can get a Lulu to match your roam, it's actually beneficial because Lucian is a laner that can always solo the opposing champion. Nearly every matchup he wins 1v1. You can just get the jump on Hansama without IgNar present. We need to look for it. Kobbe may actually go for one of those plays soon. Bit of a Hail Mary.
Sencux doing his best to hold onto the waves. Sigil procced onto Sencux, ready to go. Power wants to continue the dive, just threatening.
Yeah, the reason we bring up these control wards seems a bit of a random stat for a lot of people is that throughout the season, Splyce and Misfits ranked respectively, I think 10th and 8th, or the other way around. They were both very low in control wards placed. So vision was a major issue. A lot of these games in the mid game have been decided around pretty efficient Baron dances on both sides. So that's definitely a weakness they have shored up for the playoffs.
PowerOfEvil hoping to catch a Scuttle Crab, but inconvenient timing. We'll spot out Trashy, however. Decent damage goes down.
Yep.
Ooh, nice.
Really good addition that you can always repel out. It gives at least much more safety in the jungle.
So again, we see PowerOfEvil moving with KaKAO. What am I talking about? KaKAO's in the jungle. Moving towards the top half of the map.
He cancelled the back in the mid lane. I see Drakos like ponders, like, why is he using ulti? Just to poke out Sencux and put pressure. Wonderful vision, yep. They're just messing with him because they're setting up a roam in the bot lane right now. This is not for mid lane turret. They're cancelling him 3-4 times. Gotta be careful now though. So, because now Braum's here all of a sudden.
One stack gonna go down for the concussive blows.
And this is mid lane priority, and then PowerOfEvil can base or teleport or just walk into any part of the map that he wants to because Viktor is pressured so much.
Yeah. This is the value of being able to push, because now PowerOfEvil can go back, she can buy, and she can teleport down to the bottom lane, or she can look to roam top. The result of that whole play means that Sencux has to catch this wave.
He did get spotted on a ward though, so they should be aware here, but I don't see any pings.
Yeah, there are no pings.
They should have seen him.
Taunt misses. Spirit Refuge used. And Wunder running now to safety. PoE gonna try to block some damage with the clone. Leaps in anyway, wants to get aggressive here. Flash comes out, PowerOfEvil still gonna live.
Really nice dive from PowerOfEvil, utilizing the clone to initially tank up the damage, and then throwing out the full burst combo, knowing that Alphari's ultimate was ready and waiting. Again, another PowerOfEvil special, now 3-0-0 on the LeBlanc.
We did not see the pings from Splyce. We obviously don't know their communication, but it seemed to me like Wunder was very much so surprised.
I mean, you just have to assume. Otherwise, he would have left the tower, backed out, ran to safety. He burns his flash into play, which means he could not have been expecting to die. Does now have the Blade of the Rune King. It's a small boon, but...
I mean, he uses lightning. This is... If you know LeBlanc's coming, you don't lose lightning rush because it gives you extra resistances and the ability to dodge.
Well, gonna have to keep our attention there. IgNar in trouble. Exhaust going down onto Kobbe, but out comes the calling. IgNar, will he drop? Blade of the Rune King used up. IgNar trying to flash to safety. Kobbe leaps forward, goes in.
The greedy flash from IgNar. He goes all the way low enough for Kobbe then to flash and give him a nice little Q double left tap. It's a big move here. Now it's the Splyce bot lane finally pulling ahead. The last two games, Misfits, they won based off pressure that was coming out of the bottom lane, but Mikyx and Kobbe drafted this Braum Lucian, turning that story upside down.
This will be a big confidence booster for Splyce. They've now moved Trashy to the bottom lane as well. They're looking to get some damage down onto this tower. How can Misfits answer?
Sencux has to be careful.
Forward, Sencux needs to run to safety. Chain connects, he's locked up. Honeyfruit to buy a bit of time. Down goes the gravity field, not enough. End of the line, gonna take it.
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt you there, Krepo, but I think that's worth talking about. Sencux getting caught out. PowerOfEvil, he's been roaming around this map with KaKAO a lot during the early game, and this is going to stymie a lot of the push from Splyce down in the bottom lane. I was doubtful of this Viktor pick during the draft, and so far, with all the pressure that KaKAO's been exerting, Sencux is not having the same sort of laning phase that he would have liked.
Yeah, Viktor's strong on his lane, but obviously you can't go blind into River, and it's this point in the game where you can see a lot of information from the minimap, but right now, looking around in the studio, there is more information to read just off the faces of the Splyce players. Sencux, after that play, he went to full facepalm because, like, he's trying to match his LeBlanc roam, right? But you need to take a safe path. You can't go blind into river unless you see enemy jungle. He uses his flash too, and he just sinks a little lower in his chair. And he's just under so much pressure right now.
Has to feel bad. From dominating the mid lane matchup in the first 2 games to slowly getting picked apart now that PowerOfEvil has his hands on this LeBlanc.
There are still a lot of gains for Splyce though. There's a lot of chip damage gone down onto this tier 1, a lot of chip damage going down onto this tier 2 in the bottom, and Splyce are looking for a possible dive top.
Cocoon goes wide. Alphari was set up to be dive, but IgNar is here to save the day.
Keep your eyes on PowerOfEvil on the river. He's looking to collapse. Misfits are looking to trade something for that turret. They're losing in the bottom lane. Splyce need to run.
Kobbe gets looking to clear the wave. They know they have the time to take down the tower. Want to potentially set up to take the next one as well. Now moving forward. What is the next move for this side? What is the next move for this lineup? Misfits looking for the tower trade. Splyce just backing off in the meantime.
But they can go mid. They can put like 3 members mid and then rotate towards the tier 2 in the bottom lane. They need to do something here. Sencux can't pressure alone, so he needs help. He's going for the blue buff. Pee-wee could just disappear here and show up in the bottom lane. That's 2 Braums. WTF?
Tower not going to fall, however, as Alphari.
We're not in an OGM
control.
blind pick final.
Guys,
it's a game
don't
5.
worry.
There are in fact only 1 Shen.
Yep.
Rest in peace, blind pick game 5.
But it will result in a tower for tower trade. Splyce versus Misfits. This swap was necessary for Misfits because that top tower was getting heavily chunked out, and they knew that after the kill, especially in bottom lane, that they were going to lose that tower anyway. So rather than delay the inevitable, they just at least get something in return. And now the lane assignments happen once again. Dragon is still available, and I wonder whether or not they just move PowerOfEvil off. Well, I feel like it would be better if you move power to the bot side, you have Shen up top, and then you have the wave clear in mid, but it's going to be difficult with PowerOfEvil going up into the bottom lane of Splyce.
Splyce is splitting the map right now. They're playing for top turret. Wunder wants to get side lane priority. I think we'll always see Trashy hug around Wunder's side to maybe make a pick on whoever defends. And the Lucian Braum combo is actually quite potent in duels.
At the end of the day, the game's so even.
Ooh, this is actually really interesting. Look at bot lane. We're looking at a 2v4 plus potentially Shen. So if Kobbe and Wunder and Trashy want to stay, they need to stall. They're backing off right now. And now the tricky shot calling starts. Do Splyce go mid? Trade tier 1 mid lane for bot tier 2. Can PoE make a pick and everybody moving around? They're stopping for Raptors. Is that a bit of a waste? Trashy is about to get poked out by LeBlanc on the minimap.
Alphari potentially in trouble. Chain CC coming in. Coling goes down. Spirit's Refuge not going to block that damage. Kobbe considering to leap forward. Taunt goes down. He's under the tower. Maybe not exactly where he wanted to be. Now running to safety. Alphari has the bot lane split. Alphari has the bot lane low. Leaps in onto Mikyx. He wants 1. He wants to get 2, but the exhaust is going to be enough. Kobbe's going to take him down.
Really well played from Splyce's bottom lane. Alphari trying to go for the hero outplay, but isn't quite able to get it.
Man, it was actually the clone earlier. It was not the actual LeBlanc looking for Trashy here, which means Misfits are so far below or behind on the play here. Constellation Clown Drake, but what a beautifully executed dive there by Mikyx and Kobbe. Their confidence is slowly coming back in this game 5.
It's good to see the shift. Good to see the team, both teams, playing on form. PowerOfEvil being the man to roam. KaKAO helping him set up the plays. But Wunder struggling on these top lane picks. But the bot lane that has been sacrificed for so many of these games, now finding a lead for themselves.
Misfits have a lot of deep vision down in the bottom half of Splyce's jungle. Mid lane is their focus. You can see a lot of the pings coming out. Viktor, fun, interactive champion.
You're not going to siege on a Viktor. This is a mistake a lot of teams make. Once they switch back to the bottom side, they forget that enemies are just to still be in their jungle, and Wunder is experiencing exactly that.
So much damage. Down goes.
And what's he supposed to do? He has no vision in his jungle. They keep swapping up the sides of the map, but he needs to start putting side lane pressure. If he waits for all the information, it's too late. It's a gamble. And Wunder essentially dies. He gives it that turret, and now Misfits looking to defend their mid lane turret.
They do have Hand Summer there. He's got enough wave clear, but look at the positioning of Mikyx. Blocking the main wave clear tool. Can Misfits force a flank?
TP coming in from the Shen. Where is he going to go? Where will the taunt land? Alphari just for now, just trying to retreat and goes. The Winner's bite. No follow-up on the concussive blows. It will just be the disengage.
So now the bottom lane is pushing in favor of Splyce. That's going to slowly start working their way towards Misfits half of the map. A top lane push has been started, and Misfits should just use this to try and gain some control over the top half of Splyce's jungle.
Yeah, we do see another reason to pick that Braum up by Mikyx. Much easier to find where LeBlanc is flanking from and then play with the shield here. We see that dive repeated. The zone from the W from Shen was already down. after all the damage kind of came out, right? You know, so Alphari was very late. And then the reset here, I love the communication because it's so easy for Mikyx to panic flash out. His AD carry is telling him, I have heal, I'm coming. Then gets healed and then flashes. I'm not sure how much communication that was or just in time.
Oh no, rinse and repeat. Wunder desperate to get something back, but it's all too easy for PowerOfEvil. Oh, Splyce.
You need wards in your jungle or you need your jungler there to assist you.
What are you talking about? Misfits have plenty of wards in the jungle. And that's one of the reasons as to why they can so regularly get these picks down onto Wunder. Now we're seeing a bit of a contest around the red buff.
PowerOfEvil just picking off members left and right. In comes the Shen ultimate. Can he chase any further? Doesn't look like it, but Misfits very much in control of this game, and this is a sizable lead for them.
Yeah, the next 3 minutes are crucial for Splyce because they have teleport advantage and a strong side laner in Kennen. They need to find a way to use it. Wunder could no longer afford to get picked off one more time. This is the key moment, but he's already 0-4. Looking to mimic that Teemo performance he had in week 10. But this time he's not actually trolling.
And this is grim, because when we look at what the analyst has talked about, they say, hey, Wunder, he's going to come back, he's going to be on carries, he's going to round out this series. Well, he's on a carry, but he's not coming back. 0-4-0, grim fate so far.
But he needs sideline pressure, and maybe the problem is with AD Kennen, you can't really use your teleport as aggressively, but still, 5v4 is a 5v4. Look how scared he is. He's backing off. This is not the Wunder that we're used to seeing. Wunder was always pushing this wave out. Look at this bottom wave. It's going to be a really slow push there for Splyce. He's joining his team right now. He's going to play team fight Kennen.
Compare this to his Renekton game, where he lived in Misfits' half of the map. He was always forcing Alphari underneath his turret, always winning out on extended trades, and making it difficult for Misfits to really make any kind of play around the map at all.
And this is all because of PowerOfEvil's LeBlanc. This is 2 games in a row right now. He is making a major option for MVP in this series in the way he's dominating game 4 and 5.
It's just been so crisp, so clean, time and time again. The roams. I mean, early game, level 4, pre-level 6 LeBlanc. Level 6 comes around, he starts to roam even further. Overall, just a dominating performance thus far. You can see weighing heavy on Yamato Cannon as it is on the team at this particular moment.
Just nothing he can do. All the previous games you have to watch.
Oh, by Kobbe, not what you wanted. PowerOfEvil wants to keep the ball rolling, looking to go a little bit further on to Sencux. Wunder not going to get anything back.
We've talked so much about the vision control for Misfits in the bottom half of Splyce's jungle. Time after time we have seen Wunder getting picked off. Kobbe, he thought he was taking the safe route, but he didn't realize that even that part of his jungle was in control of Misfits, and that is another pick going towards the red team.
Man, this is why Kennen AD carry has seen so much flack, because when it fails in such a brutal manner, because nobody can deal with the silence right now. Misfits, they're essentially sieging the base at 23 minutes of the game. They're getting away with it.
Exactly where they want to be. No one can contest PowerOfEvil. A 5-0-2 LeBlanc, 22 minutes into the game. Lich Bane, Gunblade, insane burst damage. Extra spells. Misfits are playing so well right now. PowerOfEvil in his element, and I feel like this is a form of PowerOfEvil we have never seen in his history as a mid laner.
Ooh. Think of the... This is the guy who had the wonky Orianna belts. It seems like you forget the unicorns, my friend. What?
Do you not remember the on-hit Kayle, the smite blue Ezreal mids, the on-hit Orianna?
Just because this man could never play Rise did not mean he could play any other champions.
But this is definitely a meta that has suited the PowerOfEvil.
A team that has suited the PowerOfEvil.
That's very true as well, and I thought that early on in this series, his champion pool was being limited. He wasn't being given the freedom. But he has certainly found the champion that is working for him.
It's a good time. Now the AD carry picks Varus. He never has to touch it again. He plays the champions he wants to play.
Pick me Varus, it's a flex. Psych. Get me LeBlanc. But yes, PowerOfEvil. And I love redemption stories because it's so easy to write off a player. Everybody's like, yeah, PowerOfEvil had one good split, and now he's washed up in Origin. And put in Peke. Like, can you imagine what this guy has gone through last year on a struggling like Origin and just not playing well? Team was not the greatest environment, according to him afterwards, and then he always had the risk of getting replaced with his legacy mid laner that literally everybody likes. Like, I mean, yeah, have you seen his face? You know?
How can you not like him?
Yeah.
PowerOfEvil may have to consider
Snapping back to reality with the Shen this time.
Leaping forward again. He is fearless, not even worried about the 4 stack on that concussive blows. Leaping in, flash out from Mikyx. Sama on the way, all goes wide. Coling comes out. This could be a turn from Splyce. A lot of low health bars, but Power still on the front line. Kobbe doing what he can to dish out damage. Now comes the redemption. Mikyx still gonna live.
Wait, where did Wunder teleport to? We saw teleport channeled. He went mid lane to walk to the top lane. Very peculiar movement here. I think Misfits were anxious because they saw Wunder maybe channel teleport on the map. Like we did, but he arrived just in the mid lane.
And Misfits, they were very close to setting up what could have been a very big team fight win. But the response from Splyce was very good. Sencux was actually in a prime position to turn that fight very swiftly around. The Misfits with a very strong disengage. Buy a little bit more time. No one ends up dropping. No one ends up losing control around the Baron area. But that Baron is becoming ever bigger. Sencux.
He's in trouble. More damage getting dished out, taking his time. Mikyx gonna block because he looks for the retreat. Arrow locked up and taken out, but constant pressure coming out from Misfits. You can't even back safely on your own side of the map. Baron, potentially the center of their attention. 25 minutes in, completely dark. TP,
channeled.
Mikyx moving his way forward. What can they do to contest? Splyce on the way, but Wunder's too far away. He has no TP. Kobbe getting sold out on the side. PowerOfEvil has to be careful, has to respect the Lucian. In comes Trashy, with the Baron still ticking down. In the meantime, Misfits, what will the call be? The call is to turn on to Mikyx. The Baron starting to reset, health starting to go forward. Kobbe looking for a way in.
And this time it's a different POV, because like, there were a lot of people commenting on the build, but I believe he went Zhonya second last game, but this time it is actually just a gunblade into the Lich Bane, and then you get the disgusting spike from the LeBlanc, because it's one shot with the auto at the end that you want. And Faker runs it.
If he'd been able to kill Kobbe, which he may do now.
Ooh. A little bit more flash forward, looking to kill Kobbe, leaps back out.
The resistances from the Braum W just...
No, the Braum shield blocking the auto!
Oh, did it actually block? Oh, it blocked the auto as well, I see, damn. I thought...
the resistances! Some of them are! It absorbed
I thought that I'd give it, because like, I saw the proc on the passive, so I thought that would have been enough, especially from the empowered ult. And I didn't see him block the ultimate damage, but you're right, like it's the pass, the auto is
It was both?
Yeah.
It was the resistances and
exactly,
the shield.
Yeah, it was everything. That's why they have 2 color casters.
No, it's really hard to spot. That's how fast it goes.
Well.
And the giant image is displayed here on the damage graph. PowerOfEvil sending a clear message.
I don't want to tell you what that looks like.
To the Splyce team here for those first 2 games.
PowerOfEvil, I mean, on a tear thus far. Forcing summoners out every single
I think
fight.
we get to
Okay, yeah, we can
evidence.
watch in slow-mo, right?
Flash.
Is that an auto?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it's an auto, gets blocked.
Yeah.
But he also, he did get the resistances, so I think we're both right, Ready?
High five. Good job.
Not only was he saved, the resistances helped him feel safe. And feeling safe is important as an AD carry.
I don't think he's going to feel too safe, though, because that LeBlanc could be...
I mean, he did blow Flash.
Oh,
just to
okay,
make
so
safety.
is PowerOfEvil, his only options right now are Luden's Echo or Death Cap.
Yeah, I should definitely go Ludens, no?
It would definitely help with the wave clear, and I think...
I mean, champion clear?
It'll help with the wave clear, and it'll also... It's just better because you don't have enough AP to make full utilization out of the Death Cap as well. So.
How many extra ratios can you give this champion? Gunblade active, Lich Bane proc, Luden's Echo. Just balancing out those nerf LeBlanc
Rapid fire
ratios.
cannon.
Get the sprinkly icy stuff. I always forget the name.
Mikyx backing up, needs to be careful. Looks like he will get taken down. Has already used the Unbreakable. Redemption coming down to heal up the vast majority of the damage.
This
no
was a
one's dropping
fight
point yet.
without PowerOfEvil. That was the biggest point here, and Viktor used all his ultimates. Mikyx needs to stay alive because he's the one that has to absorb these projectiles from PowerOfEvil, but he's not sure. He's walking around with this kind of door in front of him. It's like, how many projectiles do I want to take?
I can block the first one, but after that, I think I'll die still.
Guys, this is a team environment here. Yeah, Mikyx dropping super low. He has the base, which means the wards are going to the base too.
This is one of those LeBlanc games where you really wish you had Ignite. That extra bit of damage would have resulted in more kills, but he is still playing for the team. Teleport is on cooldown for the time being for PowerOfEvil, so that's why he's grouping up much more. And Misfits, they're keeping the push on the mid lane, which means that they're constantly maintaining vision control around the river of Baron, and this is their main focus. With so many towers down for Splyce, This is the big fight that Misfits need to have.
However, if Splyce can find another opportunity to try to force something when PowerOfEvil is not in the area, maybe they can take a fight, because things did look relatively even. May not be enough, however, as Misfits just continue to slowly but surely take absolute control.
Yeah, but the map is getting really dark. This is what Splyce sees currently. They have a few vision, or a bit of vision on the Nashor, but they don't know where PoE could be. He could be at the entrance of your Raptors in your jungle. He could be literally anywhere on the right side of the map. He could be in that brush on the left side. You don't know if you're Splyce, and that's the problem. Like, that's where he is. He's at the Raptors, trying to make a kill. Like, do you expect him here? No, Wunder doesn't.
Wunder, is he done? No, PowerOfEvil backing off, but that is double Infernal, double Cloud now to the side of Misfits. Not only are they fast enough to chase you down, they've got the extra damage to kill you as well.
The Misfits, they have had exceptional Dragon control, at least in the last 3 games, and once again they've managed to ascertain all 4 of the Drakes this game. Now that is Elder, a very big win condition for them, but the Baron returns to be the main focal point. IgNar,
Potentially in trouble here. Out comes the ulti from Varus. IgNar still going to live. Does cost him the Shen ult in the end, but KaKAO manages to take down Trashy. Now moving forward, now looking for a bit more. Kobbe has to be safe. Alphari on the front lines, blocking the shots coming in. Mikyx going to get taken down. That's going to make it all too easy for the LeBlanc. Mikyx living for now. Will he make it in with the redemption? No! Now moving to the backside, there's Wunder! With the exhaust is down, that's not an AP Kennen, and that means the damage is nowhere to be found. Hansama moving forward. Kobbe still alive and well. Multiple members with low health bars. What can he do? Can he save the day? Spirit's Refuge used. The end of the day, still a trade in the favor of Misfits.
It looked so good for just a second, and it actually makes me wonder if it's even worth it for a Kennen to play that way in a fight, if you're an AD Kennen. But Kobbe is trying his heart out to win these fights, but it's so hard for him to get the damage in, especially at the end when Alphari drops that zone down. But Misfits as a team, look at that work together. They find Trashy. He's essentially the one making the pick. They immediately just blow him up. Nowhere Pel comes out. Alphari has been on point with his Stand Uniteds as well. Not wasting it too early, but using it in time. Taunt Flash as well connects. Everything being done right here. PoE follows up and finds Mikyx.
and track Kobbe in this fight. He's dealing damage to the key targets as often as he can. He hits PowerOfEvil right at the end there. Now Mikyx, he's being caught out.
Misfits not going to force a fight in the pinch, though. They know better than to take that risk against the Viktor. Take that risk against the AoE. You saw in the damage graphic how much he can do in those clustered situations. But still, things very heavily in the favor of Misfits, and Splyce need to find something, and fast, because a Baron blow this game even further in the favor of them.
The biggest problem for Splyce now is just the sheer discrepancy in value that both these top laners are providing. Wunder was barely in that fight at all, but even if he was, I don't know if it would have significantly changed the fight in a way that would have resulted in a fight win for Splyce. He is at such a massive deficit that Alphari's value is effectively making this always a 5 versus 4 every time these two teams collide.
Yeah, PowerOfEvil's roam early, combined with KaKAO's pressure, have put Splyce's top side of the map at a 0-7. And now it's only Mikyx, the man in the bot lane, who can get even any information on what's going on with Nashor.
Trashy, what can you do? Leap into the air, come down, 4K health still up and available. Trying to get damage down on the Kobbe, but he's alive for now. Hansama has slain Mikyx. Sencux trying to get out what he can on the backside, but this is disaster for the side of Splyce. Kobbe holding on as long as he can, but here comes PoE. Oh no, Kobbe, that's not what you want. Taken down, knocked out, and Sencux holding on, but at the end of the day, Misfits 3 for 0.
And this is exactly what the Misfits wants. Another few kills on the board. All they need to do is eventually get this Nashor before this Viktor on Sencux scales up to another item. Now PoE's going in with Stand United.
Forward, has the ult, flash over the wall, gravity field, it doesn't matter, the chain's complete. Down goes the mid laner.
And only Wunder is left alive. Misfits were down 2 games in this series, and now they are 1 Baron away and 1 win away from securing a spot at Hamburg.
Right now, it's just absolute dominance from the side of Misfits. Splyce grasping at straws to find a way back in. And we look at this. This is...
Yeah, it's 5-man ulti from Wunder, from Mikyx here. Hits literally everybody 4 except PowerOfEvil.
Wunder's going back to base. He's not even TPing into this fight. Splyce, they're at a 4v5 throughout the entire duration. When we were talking earlier on about the value that Alphari offers versus what Wunder offers, I wasn't talking a literal sense 5 versus 4, but the fact that Misfits were able to make it happen in that power, he's off hunting again.
Wunder did no damage in the last team fight. If there's a fight here, he may not do any damage either. PowerOfEvil playing with his food.
The accuracy on these chains, though,
that was
very commendable. This guy. especially considering how games 1 and 2 went down. Almost no pressure, never allowed to leave his lane. It's that early gank from KaKAO as well. He visits mid, KaKAO give it, and then PowerOfEvil take it away. He goes top lane, takes all the credit.
8-1-4. In solo queue, the game would already be over.
This is where you get silent, you don't say anything, you queue up again, and the first thing you do is just ban LeBlanc.
I mean, what else is there? No chance, however, to adjust the pick and ban for next game for Splyce. It's all or nothing here.
Yeah, the next game, they're banning LeBlanc, is the first game in summer. The way continues right here.
And just to inform people, in the event that Misfits are able to get themselves a reverse sweep, they will be going up against the Unicorns of Love. They cannot face G2 regardless of the outcome, and so they will be meeting the Unicorns in the semi-final. So exciting possible future matchup, but for the time being, Misfits still need to close things out. 35 minutes. Baron is in the favor of Misfits. 10,000 gold lead, and they're looking to get themselves that reverse sweep.
Double Fernals as well. Gentlemen, this is grim for the side of Splyce. Maybe if all 5 members group up, Sencux, Wunder, everything can just get the damage on that stack of 5, maybe they can get something. But that is grasping at straws at this point.
Base following a shambles. PoE constantly supported by his team here. He's dashing in, getting a major ultimate down every single time. He did it with Wunder 2, dash in, get the Kennen ulti, dash back, and then finish him off. Very mobile build. Yeah, he's actually sitting on this NLR that he built earlier. Finished the Void Staff, and now he's going for Zonias, but that doesn't build that way anymore.
An oops, I guess.
We call this the bits and
It's something that you
pieces.
do all the time, right? But regardless, he's still pretty strong.
Just like, I want a really large rod. Done. Alright, let's go next.
Really hoping to find a pick onto IgNar, but PoE comes over the wall looking to pop Sencux before the fight can even start. Barrier keeps him healthy for now, but not enough. A pick onto Mikyx, and Misfits are pushing into the base.
Pushing into the base here, another chain Trashy has to flash out. Kobbe is so low, this could be the final breaking point for Splyce.
Now moving for more. Misfits hungry to get something here. Can they grab yet another inhibitor? Alphari stopped in his tracks. Splyce desperate to get anything back. A second inhibitor now set to fall.
One inhibitor now remains in the way of Misfits, but they've decided that they don't want to greed. They're going to take this slow. With the advantages that they've gained, they're going to go back to base. There's only one lane left for them to play in. They could even pick themselves up the Elder Dragon to just add insult to injury. But Splyce, things are looking dire.
Just continues to get more and more grim, but if you're a fan of Misfits, this is everything you want. An emotional roller coaster of a series.
And you can see this is just Splyce desperation play at this point in time. They know they have to try something with the Baron, with the strong, or with the massive gold lead that Misfits have. You just have to make some kind of a play happen. You hope for the best. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for Splyce.
Yeah, these teams, they arrived in the studio more than 8 hours ago to get ready for this match. They started playing this match 7.5 hours ago. And it looked so swift and so easy for Splyce to take it home. And after a gruesome Game 3, the momentum slowly started shifting to Misfits, and it never gave up here.
But you can't take anything away from Misfits, right?
No.
These guys just came out of their shell.
They deserve
First 2
it.
games, they looked nervous, they didn't look uneasy, and now they could be going for that game-ending fight.
Now looking for a little bit more. PoE gonna use the Zonias moving forward. Mikyx now set to fall. Kobbe's still alive, but doesn't have a ton of mana here. KaKAO on the backlines may get taken down. The team is split up. Misfits 4-man strong. However, KaKAO is in trouble. Can they cancel the TP before the Shen gets in? Wunder. No! Blocking the damage. Wunder, no! Gets taken.
He lives!
What an outplay! Now moving for more. The shutdown. Sencux running for his life. PoE playing with his food. Dishes out the damage. It's the double for Hansama, and it might just be the game for Misfits.
4 kills to 1 go in the favor of Misfits, and they, ladies and gentlemen, are gonna take the series.
Moving forward, TP comes in. It's all too easy for Misfits. Coming in from Challenger to top 4 in the LCS to down in the dumps in a slump. They find themselves a win here with the reverse sweeps, and they punch their tickets to Hamburg.
What a long day for both these teams, but in the end, it's Misfits that walk away with the victory.
Relieved faces rather than excited ones. It was a hard-fought series, and while they certainly are happy, both teams worked so hard. That series could have gone either way.
Both teams. Ooh. Out of voice. Both teams. Investing
Both
very...
teams play their hearts out. Definitely have to commend Splyce for game 1 and 2.
That was not what I need. All right. Investing in the early game. Taking risks on early game picks, but making it work.
I definitely agree.
No, here, I did not see Misfits bouncing back from this first game. What an impressive turnaround.
I thought that the experience, the play style from Splyce just seemed to be on another level to Misfits, but then they changed up their draft, they identified the issues, and they came back strong.
And at the end of the day, I mean, just insane mental fortitude, a team that continues to impress us, continues to rise up. In the first few weeks, we thought, they're good, but they have some weaknesses. Middle of the season, they were great, then they were slumping, and now I'm not sure what to think about the Misfits. They're a team that just keeps showing us new things.
They bought themselves another week. They have clear issues still in their team, but it's fine. As long as you can work through them and still get the win, that's all that matters here. And they achieved their goal for the seasons. Misfits as an organization have come out and said that they want to become a team that can vie or even secure that top 3 in Europe and go to Worlds. Well, a top 4 in Spring Split is well on track to achieve that goal.
Bear in mind, points are still an important thing when it comes to the end of the season. Being able to finish top 4 will contribute heavily towards that Worlds goal at the end of the year. But that's a 4-4 towards the future. Unicorns of Love will be their next opponent. And will definitely be a big obstacle to overcome. And while Splyce may be an early game team, their mid game will certainly be challenged by the boys in pink.
At the end of the day, it's, I mean, just what a series. Cannot say it enough how great this team has performed, and the future for them looks so bright. They said they wanted top 4 this season. Well, they've got it. We'll see if they can take it even further. Can they make their way to the finals? Can they take down Unicorns of Love, a team who has surged this season, I think we can safely say, to secure first place in their group, building a new roster of their own and making a massive impact.
Yeah, hanging out on stage right now with the coaching staff and Hiva, their substitute. I believe that's him.
Is indeed Hiva.
Yeah.
And this is only our first quarterfinal. We still have another one tomorrow between H2K and Fnatic.
I'm glad I'm not casting because my knees are shattered. Best of 5 here. I love the little smiles on like KaKAO. And just Hansama must be happy, so happy as well. I mean, this guy coming in like so young. First season, like everybody's like on the Hansama hype train, has to deliver. Has to be so much pressure, and I think he definitely was it game 3 where he didn't die a single time. Game 4 he died only once. This guy definitely plays in the shadows of some of these big names here, but definitely delivers consistently.
Kalista, the Varus, consistent performances overall for this guy. It's just, I mean, it's a really good look for the bot lane right now in Misfits when we weren't always sure if Hansama was going to be a top-tier AD carry, and he may not be there yet, but these were some fantastic performances.
IgNar as well, a really big part of the success of Hansama too. The fact that they played with so much trust with each other, something that we talked a lot about when he did bring out the Thresh, always reliant on his AD carry to be there to support him. And I think that it was very enjoyable to watch.
It's an admirable quality, an AD carry that actually pulls you into the ultimate without having to like ping spam 5 times in the right chat. Like,
knows, understands.
Someone who always takes the lantern.
Yeah.
You know they'll take it.
Yeah, you only have to throw it. It takes a second.
All right, gentlemen. Well, with our first quarterfinal settled here in Europe, things are heating up over in Los Angeles with the first NA/LCS playoff between Phoenix 1 and Dignitas kicking off in just a few minutes. Be sure to check that out. But here in Berlin, of course, we have to celebrate our player of the series. I think no surprises here. PowerOfEvil. Man on a mission to bring his team back from the brink, and man, did he perform.
Yep, 6 spheres and 2 chains is all it took for PoE to start carrying out this series.
And it's the fact that he was allowed to play his style. He could roam around the map, move with his jungle, set up his other laners for success, really snowballed the early game leads they were so well known for during the early and middle parts of the season.
Really, when we look at it, too, I just feel like the LeBlanc play was good. When he got it back on the Syndra, we're like, this is going to be the pick that he shines on. But continuing to show us new things, show us the depth of this champion pool when we have been skeptical in the past, it's a good look for him overall. But Misfits are ready for the semifinals after a great comeback against Splyce. Stress